Okay, we're going to look at some more trinomials work. Now we've looked at examples where we've had two pluses in the question. For example, x squared plus 12x plus 27. Two numbers that multiply give 12, together give 27, that together give 12, that's 3, 9. We've then had examples like this one, where it's two numbers that multiply together to give minus 10 and add together to give 3, so that would be 5 and minus 2. 5 take away 2 is 3, and 5 times minus 2 is minus 10. So plus plus and plus minus. We're now going to look at some examples with a minus and a plus. So let's take down example 1. That's going to be x squared minus 8x plus 15. Okay, so remember it's two numbers that multiply together to give 15 and add together to give minus 8. Now, if we multiply together to give plus 15, well, that's the product. When you multiply two numbers together, you get the product. Well, the product is positive. Now, remember that the product being positive must come from either two pluses or two negatives, because if you multiply together two positives or two negatives, you always get a positive, but if you multiply together a plus and a negative, you always get a negative. So when the signs are the same when you multiply, you get a positive, and when the signs are the same, you get a positive, but when the signs are different, you get a negative. When the signs are different, you get a negative. Okay, so the result of multiplying gave me a positive result, so that must come from the signs being the same. Now we've got two options here, which is the same means it could be a plus and a plus, or it could be a minus and a minus. It's got to be two minuses, because how else would I end up with that negative 8 in the middle there? So it's definitely going to be two negatives. So let's put that down. Okay, two negatives. And then two numbers that multiply give 15. Well, that could be 1 and 15, and 3 and 5. So minus 1 minus 15, or minus 3 minus 5. It's definitely going to be minus 3 and minus 5. X minus 3, x minus 5. So let's just go over that again. We multiply together to give 15, and we need to add to get minus 8. Now, if you multiply together to get a positive result like 15, that means you've got two positives or two negatives. So the signs need to be the same to get a positive result. So it needs to be two positives or two negatives. It needs to be two negatives, because how else would we end up with minus 8 in the middle? So it's going to be either minus 1 minus 15, or minus 3 minus 5. Well, it's not minus 1 minus 15, it is minus 3 minus 5, x minus 3, x minus 5. Okay, example 2, x squared minus 7x plus 12. Okay, so again, we multiply together to get a positive result. That means the signs must be the same. Now, if the signs are the same and the numbers add together to give minus 7, then they both need to be negatives. Okay, and then what's my numbers that multiply give 12? 1 and 12, 2 and 6. But it's definitely going to be 3 and 4. So minus 3 times minus 4 is 12, and minus 3 minus 4 is minus 7. Okay, let's look at example 3. Okay, this time we've got t squared minus 10t plus 21. Okay, the product, the result of multiplying together the two numbers, is 21. So that means if the product is positive, the signs need to be the same. So it's either two pluses or two negatives, but we've got a minus in the middle, so it needs to be two negatives. Okay, numbers that multiply together give 1 and 21. I've got 1 and 21, and I've got 3 and 7. What's going to fit for in the middle for minus 10? Minus 3, minus 7. Minus 3 times minus 7 is plus 21, and minus 3 minus 7 is minus 10. Okay, example 4. x squared minus 11x plus 30. Okay, the product is positive, the signs are the same. So it could be two pluses or two negatives, but it's definitely going to be two negatives, because how else would I end up with minus 11 in the middle? Numbers that multiply give 30, 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, but what's going to fit is 5 and 6, because minus 5 minus 6 is minus 11, and minus 5 times minus 6 is plus 30, x minus 5, x minus 6, example 5. Okay, example 5, y squared minus 10y plus 24. The product, the result of multiplying, is positive. The signs need to be the same. But I've got a negative inside, so it needs to be two negatives. Okay, so numbers that multiply together to give 24, 1, 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8. It's going to be 4 and 6, minus 4, minus 6. Minus 4 times minus 6 is plus 24, and minus 4 minus 6 is minus 10. Example 6. G squared minus 13g plus 12. Okay, so the product again is positive. The signs need to be the same, but I've got a negative in the middle, so it's two pluses or two negatives. It needs to be two negatives. Okay, so two numbers that multiply give 12, 1 and 12, 6 and 2. It's going to be 1 and 12, so it's minus 1 and minus 12. Minus 1 times minus 12 is 12, and minus 1 minus 12 is minus 13. Okay, example 7. M squared minus 17m plus 30. Okay, the product is positive, the signs need to be the same, and if it's a negative in the middle, they need to be two negatives. Okay, numbers that multiply give 30, 1 and 30, that won't do. 2 and 15, yeah, that'll do. Okay, so minus 2 times minus 15 is plus 30, and minus 2 minus 15 is minus 17. Okay, we're just going to change it up and now look at examples with a negative and a negative. So we've now looked at a plus and a minus in the middle, a plus and a plus, a minus and a plus. We're now going to look when there's a minus and a minus. So let's go for x squared minus 6x minus 16. Okay, right, this time the product is negative, so that definitely comes from the signs being different, there's no doubt about that. So we multiply together to get minus 16, so to multiply together to get a negative result, that must come from the signs being different. So it's definitely going to be a plus and a minus. Okay, so it's two numbers that multiply together to give minus 16 and add together to give minus 6. So my combinations for 16 are 1 and 16, 2 and 8, 4 and 4. Now, which fits to get minus 6? I think it's going to be 2 and 8. So we now need to organise it so that we get minus 6. So would it be plus 8 minus 2? No, it wouldn't, because that would add together to give plus 6. It would be plus 2 and minus 8. 2 times minus 8 is minus 16, and 2 minus 8 is minus 6. X plus 2, x minus 8. Okay, example 9. G squared minus 3g minus 10. Okay, the product is negative. Two numbers are multiplied together to give minus 10. So the product is negative, that comes from the signs being different. Okay, so numbers that multiply give 10, 1 and 10, 2 and 5. What would fit to add together to give minus 3? It needs to be 2 and 5, so let's just organise that. So that adds together to give minus 3. It would be, let's be careful, plus 2 and minus 5. 2 times minus 5 is minus 10, and 2 minus 5 is minus 3, g plus 2, g minus 5. Let's take down example 10. Okay, let's try another. Let's go for t squared minus 7t minus 18. Okay, Okay, the product is negative. The result of multiplying the two numbers together give minus 18. So now it's two numbers multiplied with minus 18, that together give minus 7. Product is negative. The signs need to be different. Okay, for 18, the combinations are 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. So what would fit to get minus 7? It's going to be 2 and 9. So let's just be careful. It needs to add together not to give 7, but minus 7, and that will be plus 2 and minus 9. 2 times minus 9 is minus 18, and 2 minus 9 is minus 7. Example 11. This time let's go for c squared minus c minus 2. Okay, so we're looking for two numbers that multiply together to give negative 2, and add together to give, well, that would be minus 1. Okay, so the product, as we can see, is negative. The result of multiplying is negative, so that means the signs are different. Okay, so to get 2, that's 1 and 2, that's our options. So let's organise it so that it adds together to give minus 1, and that would be plus 1 and minus 2, c plus 1, c minus 2. Okay, let's try one more. Y squared minus 7y minus 30. Okay, the product is negative, signs are different. Okay, two numbers are multiplying together for 30, so it's 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 5 and 6. So what's going to fit together to give minus 7? Well, it's going to be 3 and 10. So let's just make sure that it organises itself to add together to give minus 7. So would it be plus 10 and minus 3? No, it would be minus 10 and plus 3. Minus 10 times 3 is minus 30, minus 10 plus 3 is minus 7.